Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Mark Lynn. Namaskar. Coming up in the next hour, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi co-chairs the AI Action Summit in Paris with President Macron. He pitches for global framework for AI. 61 nations, including India, signed the Paris Communique. They call for open, ethical and safe AI. The European Commission chief says that the EU aims to mobilize 200 billion euros for AI investments. The World Government Summit opens in Dubai. Transition from industrial age to intelligence age dominates the talks. And world leaders vow to retaliate against US President Trump's 25% tariffs on steel and aluminium. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the French President Emmanuel Macron, they co-chaired the AI Action Summit in Paris, and this is a summit which saw participation from world leaders and tech experts. Prime Minister Modi spoke on India's AI perspectives and priorities. The event focused on inclusivity and sustainable AI, ending with the leader's statement on safe AI governance. DD India's Tapas Bhattacharya reports from Paris.
Is taking a decisive role in shaping the future of artificial intelligence. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi co-chaired the third AI Action Summit alongside French President Emmanuel Macron. During his address, he emphasized AI's potential for global good, while also warning about its inherent biases and the need for international cooperation.
I welcome the decision to set up the AI Foundation at the Council for Sustainable AI. We must also make the Global Partnership for AI truly global in nature. To build on the momentum of this Action Summit, India would be happy to host the next summit.
With AI rapidly reshaping economy, security and society, Prime Minister Modi also spoke about one of the biggest concerns, job displacement.
Loss of jobs is AI's most feared disruption. But history has shown that work does not disappear due to technology. Its nature changes and new types of jobs are created. We need to invest in skilling and reskilling our people for an AI-driven future.
Prime Minister Modi highlighted India's growing AI talent pool and the development of India's large language model designed to pool resources like compute power. French President echoed the need for open source AI to ensure an inclusive and transparent AI future.
If we want to trust artificial intelligence, we have to have greater and more consolidated quality data. And we want to have models, we want to have open access, but it has to be multiple access. And the example we saw from Prime Minister Modi earlier, we can see the different models. We want open source models and multiple sorts which reflect our diversity.
Beyond risk, AI governance must also promote innovation and accessibility for all. With AI shaping the future at an unprecedented pace, Prime Minister Narendra Modi's message was clear. Innovation must go hand in hand with responsible governance. As global leaders deliberate, the focus remains on making AI inclusive, transparent and accessible for all. With camera-person Rakesh, this is Taposh Bhattacharya for DD India from Paris.
Well, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi held talks with US Vice President J.D. Vance on the sidelines of the AI Action Summit. The Prime Minister also met the Estonian President Alar Karis on the sidelines of the AI Action Summit in Paris. This has happened on Tuesday, marking their first official meeting. The two leaders laid emphasis on strong India-Estonia ties built on democracy, freedom and pluralism. Discussions focused on expanding cooperation in trade, IT, cybersecurity and digital innovation. PM Modi invited Estonian businesses to explore India's growth opportunities under initiatives like Digital India. The AI Action Summit in Paris highlighted divisions among leaders on AI regulation. US Vice President J.D. Vance warned against overregulation and authoritarian tech. In contrast, the European leaders, including Macron and von der Leyen, they called for AI regulation to ensure trust. The US and the UK did not sign the statement on inclusive and sustainable artificial intelligence. Fuzail Ahmed's report.
As the technology takes root, mood on artificial intelligence shifted from concerns around safety to geopolitical competition at the AI Action Summit in Paris. The debate ranged from authoritarian censorship to the need for rules to govern AI and from freeing AI from ideological bias to serving humanity. French President Emmanuel Macron stressed regulation was needed to ensure trust in AI.
As we have done during this summit, we need to continue to advance international governance of artificial intelligence, that which, in essence, based on the actions and coalitions that we have launched today, will enable us to consolidate the elements of trust in artificial intelligence. Alongside this, movement of acceleration and innovation, and will enable us to set the rules, because we need these rules for artificial intelligence to move forward.
The European Commission President also launched Invest AI, an initiative to mobilize 200 billion euros for investment in AI, including a new European fund of 20 billion euros for AI gigafactories.
Yes, AI needs competition, but AI also needs collaboration. And AI needs the confidence of the people and has to be safe. And actually, this is the purpose of the AI Act, to provide for one single set of safe rules across the European Union, 450 million people, instead of 27 different national regulations, and safety is in the interest of business.
However, US Vice President J.D. Vance seems to differ with the European leaders. Vance remarked, massive regulations on artificial intelligence could strangle the technology and rejected content moderation as authoritarian censorship.
We feel very strongly that AI must remain free from ideological bias and that American AI will not be co-opted into a tool for authoritarian censorship.
Google CEO Sundar Pichai highlighted few advantages of artificial intelligence.
It will both unleash creativity in the tools of artists and so on, but people can use it to create deep fakes. So we are early on working on technology like SynthID, watermarking technology. We will need standards, and those are areas where governments and private companies can work together to create a standardized way to detect deep fakes.
The United States and the United Kingdom did not sign the Paris AI Summit's declaration entitled Statement on Inclusive and Sustainable Artificial Intelligence. The UK government cited national interest for not signing the AI Summit statement. With Fuzail Ahmed, Amit Mukherjee for DD India.
The next AI summit will be hosted in India, likely by the end of this year or early next year. Speaking exclusively to DD India correspondent Prasar Bharati, S. Krishnan, who's the Secretary in the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology in India, confirmed the development.
Secretary Mighty S. Krishnan to talk about India's chances of hosting. Sir, Prime Minister proposed that India will be hosting the summit, next fourth summit of AI. What is the latest update on that?
Today, in his concluding statement before the AI Action Summit here in Paris, the Honorable Prime Minister made an offer to host the next AI Summit in India, and the offer appeared to be accepted by all the other countries who were present, and they were grateful for the acceptance of the offer. And we will now work on fitting in this particular summit within the overall schedule of international events world over in the AI space. And we will also identify a suitable venue in India to hold the event.
Any particular time frame you guys are looking at?
November 2023 was when the Bletchley Park AI Safety Summit was held. The Seoul Summit was held in May of 24. This summit has been held in February of 25. So the gap varies. It's sometimes 6 months, sometimes 9 months. So we'll work based on what the international schedule looks like. There is no hard and fast rule there.
Much appreciate your time. So that was the Secretary Mighty stating that short while, probably either this year end or next year early, we will have the fourth AI summit in India. With Campus Rockets, this is Taposh Bhattacharya for DD India from Paris.
And in the special briefing by the Ministry of External Affairs on Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to France, the Foreign Secretary of India, Vikram Misri, said that Prime Minister Modi and the French President will be jointly addressing the India-France CEO Forum.
Evening, Prime Minister will be co-chairing or the Prime Minister and the President will be jointly addressing the India-France CEOs Forum, and following that, Prime Minister will depart for Marseille, where also bilateral engagements between him and President Macron are foreseen.
The Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri also said that Prime Minister Narendra Modi interacted with several leaders and representatives of the tech industry.
On the bilateral front, I think the summit adds yet another aspect to the growing India-France strategic partnership. In keeping with our track record of cooperation in a number of areas, whether it's space, defense, nuclear, critical technologies, it's only natural that we cooperate in the artificial intelligence sphere as well. And you'll be seeing as the visit goes on that there will be bilateral deliverables as well on the AI front.
Still to come here on DD India News Hour. The world steels itself to combat the latest Trump tariff threat of 25% levies on imported steel and aluminium. OpenAI's Sam Altman rejects the offer of a consortium led by Elon Musk to buy the generative artificial intelligence platform. The third edition of India's Energy Week gets underway in New Delhi.
Prasar Bharati, in collaboration with IIT Delhi and Software Technology Parks of India, is organizing the DD Robocon 2025 this year as well. In this National Robotic Championship, engineering students will get ample opportunities to showcase their ingenuity and potential. The national selection for this championship will be held on the 12th and 13th of July, and the winning team will get an opportunity to participate in the International ABU Robocon Championship to be held in Mongolia in August this year. So, hurry up! The last date of registration is the 16th of February. For more information, log on to www.ddrobocon.iitd.ac.in.
You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Mark Lynn. The French Foreign Minister Jean-Noël Barrot has spoken exclusively to DD India, and Tapas Bhattacharya got us this interview. Let's listen.
Countries have, congratulations first for this AI summit. Both countries have shown that AI summit can be done, and the camaraderie and the bonhomie between both the leaders are amazing. How do you see both countries taking it forward?
So France and India have a very strong relationship, and technology and artificial intelligence are a key element of this strategic partnership. And this is why we're very grateful for India and Prime Minister Modi to have accepted to co-chair this summit, which is the largest ever organized on the topic of AI.
So he spoke about global south and time for AI to move towards providing it for other people also who don't have that access. How do you see France looking ahead for that?
We share the same view. We think there is a third path between an AI that would be controlled by governments, AI that would be controlled by very large big tech companies. We think that there is a third path that relies on open technology, sustainable technology that can provide for welfare enhancement for the people of the world. This is exactly the spirit of the public digital infrastructure that India have been promoting, and this is in this spirit that we want to build and promote such open, sustainable, and governed AI infrastructure for the benefit of all.
So we believe that India and India can be a major partner in that building, for France, the digital infrastructure for other countries and for the global world.
That's right, and the foundation that was just launched minutes ago, to which France and India, alongside with countries from Europe but also from Africa, will be participating, will be a key tool, it's called Current AI, will be a key tool to develop this approach where open models, data sets, philanthropic foundations and entrepreneurs can join forces to solve the big problems of the century, health, environment, access to public services and so on.
Both countries share a lot of values on defense and other aspects. There will be bilateral talks. What are the key aspects that you believe that both countries will take it forward when Prime Minister Modi and Macron will be meeting for bilateral talks?
Cooperation in the field of energy, cooperation in the field of culture and mobility, and many other topics that I hope we'll have the time to cover, because as I was preparing for the meetings we'll have tonight and tomorrow, there was so much to discuss between France and India that it might require yet another visit, maybe by President Macron to India next year.
Just want to know, how do you see Prime Minister Modi's vision about the World Global South?
Well, again, as I was saying, as far as AI is concerned, other topics is concerned, we believe that technology and development should be accessible to all. And this is exactly the spirit of all the actions that President Macron has promoted on the international stage. Thank you.
Much appreciated. So that was the French Foreign Minister in an exclusive interview to DD India, has stated the fact that both the countries will be looking to take this forward. With camera person Rakesh, this is Tapas Bhattacharya for DD India from Paris.
Well, the tariff war is heating up again, and the US President Donald Trump has announced a 25% import tax on all steel and aluminium entering the United States, marking a major escalation in his trade policy overhaul. The move has sparked strong reactions worldwide, and leaders have warned of retaliation and also the economic fallout.
Any steel coming into the United States is going to have a 25% tariff.
In yet another aggressive push to reshape global trade, President Donald Trump has slapped a 25% tariff on all steel and aluminium imports into the US. The decision, which will drive up costs for imported metals, comes despite strong warnings from major trading partners.
I am simplifying our tariffs on steel and aluminum so that everyone can understand exactly what it means. It's 25% without exceptions or exemptions, and that's all countries, no matter where it comes from, all countries. If made in the United States, however, United States of America, there is no tariff, zero So if it's made in the United States, there is no tariff. All you have to do is make it in the United States. We don't need it from another country.
And Trump isn't stopping there. The president has hinted at additional tariffs, this time targeting cars, semiconductor chips, and pharmaceuticals. He also announced plans to impose reciprocal tariffs on certain nations in the coming days, signaling an even tougher trade stance. The announcement has sent exporting nations scrambling for exemptions. Australian Prime Minister personally called Trump, later revealing that the US President had agreed to consider a special exemption for Australia.
I presented Australia's case for an exemption, and we agreed on wording to say publicly, which is that the US President agreed that an exemption was under consideration in the interests of both of our countries.
Higher steel prices in the US could increase construction costs, affecting everything from infrastructure projects to home building. The aluminium tax could also raise prices on everyday goods, including canned food and beverages. The European Union is gearing up to fight back. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz warned that EU will respond collectively if the US does not reverse its decision.
If the US leaves us no other choice, the European Union will react in unison. As the largest market in the world with 450 million citizens, we have the strength to do so.
As the US doubles down on its protectionist trade policies, the global response is intensifying. With Europe preparing for the retaliation and other nations seeking exemptions, the impact of these tariffs could stretch far beyond just steel and aluminium. Bureau Report for DD India.
Well, the US President Donald Trump has also suggested that Ukraine may be Russia someday. So it's going to be part of Russia, is what he says. And as the Vice President J.D. Vance prepares for talks with the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky later this week. And speaking in a televised interview, Trump reiterated his push to end the 3-year-long Russia-Ukraine conflict. Trump also proposed that the U.S. aid to Ukraine should come with returns on investment, hinting at a trade involving Kiev's rare earth mineral resources. The fragile Gaza ceasefire is under further strain after the U.S. President Donald Trump warned of severe consequences if Hamas does not release all Israeli hostages by the weekend. Hamas has halted the release of hostages, citing alleged Israeli ceasefire violations. Meanwhile, the UN chief called on Hamas to proceed with the planned release of Israeli hostages.
The ongoing Gaza ceasefire appeared increasingly fragile on Tuesday following strong remarks by US President Donald Trump, who warned that all hell would break out if Hamas did not release all Israeli hostages by the weekend.
If all of the hostages aren't returned by Saturday at 12 o'clock, I think it's an appropriate time. I would say cancel it and all bets are off and let hell break out. I'd say they ought to be returned by 12 o'clock on Saturday, and if they're not returned, all of them, not in drips and drabs, not 2 and 1 and 3 and 4 and 2.
Hamas announced on Monday that it would halt the release of Israeli hostages until further notice, citing alleged Israeli violations of the ceasefire agreement in Gaza. Ramping up pressure on neighboring countries to take in Palestinians, President Trump reiterated on Tuesday that all Palestinians would leave the Gaza Strip when they have a better alternative, adding that it's a hellhole.
I think he'll take. I do think he'll take, and I think other countries will take also. They have good hearts. I think they'll take. They're all going to leave when they have a place that's a better alternative. When they have a nice place that's safe, they're all going to leave. It's a hellhole right now.
Meanwhile, UN Chief Antonio Guterres called on Hamas to proceed with the planned release of Israeli hostages. Guterres posted on X, and I quote, "I appeal to Hamas to proceed with the planned liberation of hostages." He emphasized, "We must avoid at all cost the resumption of hostilities in Gaza. which would lead to immense tragedy. On the other hand, Arab governments, particularly Egypt and Jordan, have said Palestinians must not be driven from the land where they aim to establish a future state. On Tuesday, Jordanian lawyers gathered in front of their parliament to protest calls for the displacement of Palestinians from Gaza to Jordan. Meanwhile, Egyptians view Trump's statements as contradictory to his original claims of wanting to bring peace to the Middle East. Amid the ongoing hostage exchange deal and allegations of violations from both sides, Trump's plan addresses one of the most sensitive issues in the Arab-Israeli conflict. Ravindra Chauhan's report for DD India.
Well, the US billionaire Elon Musk and a group of investors, they are offering nearly $100 billion to buy out OpenAI and to return it to its original non-profit mission. But the OpenAI CEO Sam Altman has rejected the offer, and Musk is engaged, in fact, in a legal battle. He's contesting OpenAI's move towards becoming a for-profit organization.
Tech billionaire Elon Musk-led group has offered nearly $100 billion to buy ChatGPT maker OpenAI, a deal that could transform the future of artificial intelligence and escalate the legal dispute between Musk and OpenAI. Musk and his own AI startup, xAI, and a consortium of investment firms want to take control of the ChatGPT maker and revert it to its original charitable mission as a non-profit research lab. The offer, tabled at $97.4 billion, is much lower than the $157 billion the company was valued at its latest funding round in October last year. Talks over a further funding round reportedly value it at now $300 billion. OpenAI CEO Sam Altman turned down Musk's proposal and offered to buy Twitter instead. OpenAI is now trying to transition into a for-profit from a non-profit entity, which it says is required to secure the capital needed for developing the best AI models. Musk has a long-standing feud with OpenAI CEO Sam Altman and has filed a number of legal complaints against the company and Altman, claiming that the AI company and its leadership have misinterpreted OpenAI as a philanthropy. Musk sued Altman and others in August last year, claiming they violated contract provisions by putting profit ahead of the public good in the push to advance AI. Musk co-founded OpenAI with Altman in 2015 as a non-profit, but left before the company took off. He founded the competing AI startup xAI in 2023. Musk recently criticized a $500 billion OpenAI-led project announced by Trump at the White House. With bureau inputs, Anamika Pandey's report for DD India.
Still to come here on DD India News Hour, we get you all the latest from the Aero India show that's underway in Bengaluru, the southern Indian city.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Mark Lynn. After wrapping up his Paris visit, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi is going to be visiting Marseille in the south of France. And this visit is going to focus on strengthening diplomatic ties with key events, including the inauguration of an Indian consulate and also high-level bilateral talks. Jessica Taneja is reporting from the port city of Marseille.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi is set to arrive in the southern French city of Marseille. This is Prime Minister Modi's sixth official visit to France and is aimed at further strengthening the India-France strategic partnership. A key highlight of the visit will be the inauguration of a new Indian consulate in Marseille. The decision to open the consulate was announced during Prime Minister's visit to France in 2023. The second diplomatic mission in the French port city will enhance consular access for the Indian diaspora, while also supporting Indian startups and SMEs in navigating regulations, finding local partners, and exploring market opportunities. During his visit, Prime Minister will also pay homage to the Indian soldiers at the Maha cemetery, honouring their sacrifices. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will pay tribute to the Indian soldiers who laid down their lives during the First World War and were commemorated here at the Maha cemetery. Marseille served as the base of the Indian soldiers during the 1914 to 1918 war. Throughout the war, they either worked in the port or passed through it. Later in the day, he is scheduled to visit the site of the International Thermonuclear Experimental Reactor, which is a crucial international project in the field of nuclear energy.
A visit that both leaders will undertake together to a place called Kadash, is the site of the International Thermonuclear Experimental Reactor, which is a project, a high science project in which India is a partner along with a few other countries.
Bilateral talks are also scheduled as part of the visit, with discussions expected to focus on key areas of collaboration. While defence, security, civil nuclear cooperation and space remain the principal pillars of India-France strategic partnership, the relationship has expanded in recent years. New areas of cooperation include maritime security, digitalization, cybersecurity, advanced computing, counter-terrorism, climate change, and sustainable development. Jessica Taneja for DD India in Marseille, France.
Well, the penultimate day of the first half of the budget session of India's parliament saw heated debate, and from the controversy over the printing of the constitution to the inclusion of Sanskrit in parliament proceedings. Tensions were high on both sides. They were voicing their concerns. DD India's Anil Thomas reports.
On Tuesday, tensions flared in both houses of parliament as the Treasury bench and the opposition clashed over two major issues. The first debate centred around the printing of the constitution in the Rajya Sabha, where the government made it clear that only the version of the constitution approved by parliament would be permitted for publication. Leader of the House, JP Nadda, accused the opposition of using unnecessary issues for political gain.
जब कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन 1950 में इम्प्लीमेंट हुआ, उस वक्त बाबा साहब अम्बेडकर भी जिंदा थे, जवाहरलाल नेहरू थे, वल्लभ भाई पटेल थे, सभी कॉन्स्टिट्यूंट असेंबली के मेंबर थे, तो उसमें कोई बदलाव उस वक्त आपको नहीं दिखा। और आपके जो मुखर्जी हैं वो भी थे, लेकिन आज आप नए शब्द ला रहे।
मैं बार बार ये प्रश्न कर रहा हूं कि राधा मोहन जी ने जो प्रश्न उठाया, जिस पर आपने अपना रूलिंग भी दी और आपने कहा किसी से भी हुई है गलती, इसको रेक्टिफाई करना चाहिए। मैं ये जानना चाहता हूं कि विपक्ष को इसमें तकलीफ क्या हुई।
Meanwhile, another controversy emerged when DMK MP Dayanidhi Maran raised the issue of parliament proceedings being available in Sanskrit. In response, the Lok Sabha Speaker affirmed that Sanskrit is a core part of India's cultural identity and announced that proceedings will be available in 22 languages, including Sanskrit.
भारत की मूल भाषा संस्कृत रही है और इसीलिए हमने कहा 22 भाषाओं में, केवल संस्कृत में नहीं कहा। आपको संस्कृत की क्यों आपत्ति हुई? आपको संस्कृत भाषा की क्यों आपत्ति हुई? आपको हिंदी में आपत्ति हो, आपको संस्कृत में भाषा हो। भारत में 22 भाषाएं हैं जो संसद में मान्यता प्राप्त है।
Both houses also saw a detailed discussion on the national budget, with members from both the ruling party and the opposition sharing their perspectives on the government's fiscal plans. Anil Thomas, DD India.
Well, and from the weakening rupee to inflation, the Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman addressed a range of pressing economic concerns during the budget debate in the Lok Sabha. Responding to questions from both the NDA as well as the opposition lawmakers, she defended the government's fiscal policies while outlining key economic trends. Anil Thomas has the latest.
Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman took to the floor of the Lok Sabha to strongly refute claims that capital expenditure outlay has been reduced. She emphasized that contrary to such portrayals, the allocations has actually increased.
I heard occasionally this argument being put forward saying, has the paradigm shifted from capital expenditure because that gives a greater multiplier effect to giving people, the taxpayers, some money in their hands for boosting consumption. No, these data from the current budget, which is before us, shows that capital expenditure outlays have not come down at all. On the contrary, they've gone up.
Speaking on India's economic trajectory, Sitharaman highlighted that post the 2008 global financial crisis, India was among the fragile 5 economies. However, even after the COVID-19 crisis, India has emerged among the world's 5 fastest growing economies. She also noted a sharp decline in the unemployment rate, which dropped from 6% in 2017 to 3% in 2024.
Labor force participation rate has increased from 49.8% in 2017-18 to 60% in 23-24, reflecting a rise of about 10.3 percentage points.
Addressing concerns about the weakening rupee, Sitharaman pointed out that India is not alone in facing currency depreciation. She cited both global and domestic factors as influences on the rupee's value against the US dollar.
So the currency volatility across major countries is really extensive, sir. You get information on that. The US dollar index rose 6.5% during October 24 to January 25.
On inflation, Sitharaman reaffirmed that controlling price rises remains the government's top priority. She highlighted that food inflation has been brought down to 5.3% under the NDA government. Anil Thomas report for DD India.
The Defence Minister of India, Rajnath Singh, has exhorted the global community to join India in the co-development and co-production of advanced systems, emphasizing that the present global security scenario, it demands innovative approaches, and this is for stronger partnerships. He was addressing the Defence Minister's conclave in the southern Indian city of Bengaluru. Vishal Barristo has more.
On the second day of Aero India 2025, India's Defence Minister Rajnath Singh highlighted the new challenges posed by cyberspace and space technologies.
Increasing number of conflicts is making our world a more unpredictable place. New power plays, new vectors and new means of weaponization, increased role of the non-state actors and the disruptive technologies have made the world order more fragile. At the same time, distinction between security of the borders and the internal security is getting blurred, as hybrid warfare can target critical national infrastructure even during the peace time. The definition of front line is changing fast today. Moreover, the dimensions of cyberspace and outer space are challenging the established definition of sovereignty.
Defence Minister Singh added that disruptive technologies such as AI, quantum computing, hypersonic weapons and directed energy are transforming the character of warfare, creating new vulnerabilities. He pointed out that international order and peace cannot be ensured from a position of weakness.
And we have put in place a very conducive policy regime which encourages investment and production of an entire range of modern state-of-the-art land and maritime and air systems. India's emergence as a global hub for research, development that innovation in defense is a testament to our capability and aspiration.
India's defense minister said that the country possesses a vibrant defense startup ecosystem, which has the third largest number of unicorns in the world. He highlighted the unparalleled opportunities for collaboration offered by the thriving Indian aerospace and defense sectors, supported by a significant R&D base and an entrepreneurial spirit.
India does not believe in transactional relationships. We believe in mutual capacity building. With these words, the Defence Minister of India, Rajnath Singh, has invited the friendly countries to co-develop and co-produce advanced systems in India. With video journalist Sika Shok in Bangalore, this is Vishal Baristo for DD India.
India and Israel on Tuesday, they've organized their biggest ever business-to-business meeting in Delhi under the auspices of the India-Israel Business Forum. India's Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal and his Israeli counterpart Nir M. Barkat, they inaugurated this meeting, and during the two-day meeting, industrialists from both the countries are going to sign MOUs and also work on collaboration between their countries on several sectors. And in his address, the Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal, he invited Israeli companies to invest in India to benefit from the overall development of the business environment in India.
Look upon us as a trusted partner, because even during COVID, India did not let down a single commitment that we had made to anybody in the world. So we quickly rejigged our operations. Literally overnight, we started providing broadband connectivity to people's homes. And whoever had their back offices in India, whoever had their service centers in India, whoever had anything to do with India was able to continue.
And we are getting in some visuals from Paris. Once again, Prime Minister has a meeting with CEOs. This is just outside the Foreign Office in Paris, where Prime Minister Narendra Modi has been met by the President of France, Emmanuel Macron. They are both going to address, as we heard the Foreign Secretary say earlier, the CEOs Forum, looking to build stronger business-to-business ties between India and France. This meeting is going to take place before the Prime Minister leaves for Marseille, and where there will be the bilateral component. It's important that the leaders talk to the business community as well as top CEOs, because they get an idea about what the entrepreneurs are thinking in terms of new areas of cooperation, new sectors, and then government tries to build the environment for an enabling environment for such business collaboration to take place. We know that India and France have had good business relations in several sectors. In fact, France has been keen to be India's partner in civil nuclear energy. Apart from that, in defense, we'll get you more on that CEOs forum once the Prime Minister continues to meet them. That forum meeting is currently underway in Paris. And on to the latest news from the Maha Kumbh, the largest, in fact, religious gathering in the world. Well, millions of devotees have descended on the holy city of Prayagraj, and this is for one of the most significant spiritual events in the world, which is the Maghi Purnima Snan. It's part of the grand Maha Kumbh Mela. This divine gathering sees people from across the country taking a holy dip in the sacred confluence of rivers. Take a look at this special report filed by Dibyendu Mondal, who's there in Prayagraj.
Spirituality in India, where millions have gathered for Maghi Purnima, an occasion steeped in religious and cultural significance. Pilgrims believe that taking a holy dip on this full moon day cleanses the soul, washes away sins, and brings blessings from the divine. The convergence of the Ganga, Yamuna, and the mythical Saraswati rivers forms the sacred site where faith meets tradition in an awe-inspiring display of devotion. For many, Maghi Purnima marks a time of renewal. The day is symbolic of the deep-rooted belief that spiritual merit is gained through purification of the body and soul. The rituals here reflect a timeless connection between divine carried forward through centuries of faith. With millions pouring into the city, the Uttar Pradesh government has ramped up security measures. The Kumbh Mela is not just a spiritual hub but also a logistic marvel. Additional security forces have been deployed across the city with barricades set up to ensure the smooth movement of the masses. In the sprawling Mela grounds, thousands of police officers are managing crowd control while announcements are constantly being made to guide pilgrims through designated routes. The local administration is working round the clock to ensure the safety and well-being of the devotees. Special emphasis is being placed on maintaining law and order, preventing any untoward incidents and ensuring a safe experience for all. As the Maha Kumbh inches closer to its conclusion, this second to last holy dip carries great significance. The faithful believe that the blessings attend on this day will stay with them for the rest of their lives, ushering in peace, prosperity, and spiritual growth.
As millions of devotees from across the country continues to throng the holy city of Prayagraj, the Sangam behind me is preparing for the holy dip tomorrow on the occasion of Maghi Purnima. So is the city of Prayagraj and its security establishment, who have put up strict vigil, not just on the roads but also through the skies. This is Dibyendu Mondal from Prayagraj for DD India.
Well, let's take a look at other stories making news from around the world. Plum trees that have just started to bloom have delighted visitors at an annual festival in Karaikuen Garden, which is in North Tokyo. And this plum blossom festival, it began on Tuesday at this garden, the Karaikuen Garden, and there have been about 3,000 plum trees there, around 100 varieties of them as well. Traditional activities started across China to welcome the arrival of the Lantern Festival. It draws holidaymakers to this culturally rich destination, and thousands of visitors have been visiting to witness traditional performances, including lion dances, traditional lantern displays, and folk songs. Italy's Mount Etna has staged a mesmerizing spectacle with lava spewing from the Bocco Nuovo crater, illuminating the snowy surroundings of the volcano summit. According to meteorologists, the current eruption is a typical subterminal eruption, as it becomes, in fact, it comes from the fracture and also not from one of the main craters. You're watching DD India News Hour. Let's get you the sports news now. And India is going to clash with England. This is the third and final ODI that's going to be happening at the Narendra Modi Stadium in Ahmedabad on Wednesday, the world's biggest cricket stadium, and India will be aiming to whitewash there after winning the first and the second ODIs comfortably. And England will be looking to avoid a clean sweep. They are looking to take some momentum into the upcoming Champions Trophy. In fact, both these teams will be playing their last match before the Champions Trophy that's going to start on February 19. In the Qatar Open 2025, Coco Gauff suffered a surprise early exit from the tournament on Tuesday with a straight sets defeat by Ukraine's Marta Kostyuk. The former US Open champion Goff blew a healthy advantage in the second set as Kostyuk sealed a 6-2, 7-5 victory. Meanwhile, Elena Rybakina, she beat Peyton Stearns in her opening match. The fifth seed cruised to a 6-2, 6-4 win to advance to the round of 16. And Novak Djokovic said on Monday that his leg injury was almost 100% healed and he is ready to aim for his 100th ATP title in Doha this month. Djokovic's bid for a 25th Grand Slam title at the Australian Open ended when he was forced to retire against Alexander Zverev in the semi-finals. The 37-year-old struggled with an injury during the quarter-final match that he won against Carlos Alcaraz. Djokovic is now expecting to be back in action at Qatar Open. It starts on February 17, and he's also hoping to join Jimmy Connors and Roger Federer in reaching 100 ATP titles. Spain's former Football Federation chief, Luis Rubiales, gives his highly anticipated version of events on Tuesday. The 47-year-old Rubiales has called the kiss a peck between friends, celebrating, and denied any coercion. He has attended hearings without intervening as a slew of witnesses testified at the National Court near Madrid. Hermoso told the opening day of the trial that she felt disrespected after a non-consensual kiss that should not happen in any social or work setting. Rubiales has, in fact, was forced to resign in disgrace in 2023 after kissing Hermoso on the lips following Spain's triumph at that year's World Cup in Australia, the Women's World Cup. Brendan Rodgers returned to Celtic. This is for a second stint as the manager determined to restore the club's battered reputation on the European stage. Rodgers hopes to make a personal impact on the Champions League for the first time. Bayern Munich is going to be visiting Glasgow on Wednesday in the Champions League playoff round, and the Scottish champions a chance to shock the continent. Celtic, they have been one of the big winners, in fact, of the Champions League's revamp this season. Okay, that's it we have in this edition of News Hour. Thank you very much for joining us. For those of you who are interested in getting the latest news and updates, you can also download our app, which is available on iOS and Android. Scan the QR code as well, and you can download it now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. We are continuously giving you news of the Prime Minister's visit to France. Do stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching. Namaskar.